Hey everybody, it's Tracy. It is January 2nd, 2018, so Happy New Year to you. I've spent most of the day yesterday and this morning contemplating life, my condition or the status of my chronic health conditions, my treatments, doctors, what do I need to do, stop doing, start doing, all of that. I just looked up my record and I went to the ER 5 times last year, which is a record for me. I don't go to the ER very much. I don't know how many times I went in 2016, but I'm sure it was probably less than 5. In all the 40 years that I've had migraines, the first time I had ever gone to the ER for a migraine ever was in 2014. And it just seems like since 2014, everything has rapidly gone downhill with my migraines and the severity. And I went from very chronic, like 20, 25 migraine pain days a month, and the few days in between that I wasn't in pain, I was just trying to recover, and then the next one would start. So no real break, but then they became intractable, where the pain never left, and I am just in varying degrees of pain from migraines 24/7. I was diagnosed in 2017? End of 16, maybe it was early 2017, I think. I'd have to go look because I can't remember. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia by the first pain management doctor that I went to. Subsequently started a new neurologist, and she confirmed and agreed with that, as did my primary doctor, because of the pain, all the pain points, all the symptoms and everything, all confirmed fibromyalgia. Probably had it longer than that, but had never gone in and been officially diagnosed, because, all I know is that everything hurts, and when your head hurts, it's just kind of overwhelming. Then I had spinal issues, and I started spinal injections in 2017. So I added pain management in where I didn't have any before. And the only thing that my pain management doctor is doing, and I switched to a new one after about mid-year. The first thing he wanted to do, he put me on a couple of medicines for fibro, and that really didn't help, and I didn't like the side effects. But then he started out with my low back, wanting to do a test to see if a nerve ablation would work. So I scheduled that. I had to go into the operating room at the hospital because they need that sterile environment. They couldn't really numb me, and he's sticking huge needles in my back to try to inject like a numbing solution into the nerves in my low back, which was exceedingly painful. I bruised absolutely horrifically, and it didn't really work. I'm not sure why he didn't do spinal injections, like facet joint corticosteroid injections first. I know I questioned how long can you do this without it causing damage, but I didn't flat out refuse. I was just questioning, so I'm not really sure. So I switched to a new pain management doctor mid-year. He has a setup in his office where you don't have to go to the hospital. He has like a little operating room, a room set up with the x-ray, so he can do guided injections, and they can give you a sedation for the injections, and they have it all set up right there in his office. So you just go in fasting, he talks with you, you decide, are you injecting this place, that space, and it's really, really nice and convenient because it's all in one spot. So that's been working. I've been alternating between my neck. I usually do about 3 injections in one area, then I move like my neck, and then I move down to my low back, and then we move back up, and we can start injecting either the same joint or alternate joints and then, go back down. I think I'm about due for an occipital neuralgia injections. It's been about 4 months, I think, and that's starting to flare up. And the first time I'd ever had occipital neuralgia, ironically, was January 3rd of 2017. Was the first time, and I went to the ER with this horrific pain and pressure in the back of my head and felt like lightning bolts and going through my eyes. I had no idea what it was. The ER doctor was trying to tell me it was tense muscles. I even went to a different neurologist early in the year, a brand new neurologist, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know. It's probably just your migraine." Nobody could tell me what the pain was, and it was horrific. And I finally got into the first pain management doctor, and right away he goes, "Oh, that's occipital neuralgia." And that day he gave me steroid injections in the occipital nerves right there in the office, and it was like a miracle. Lasted like 3.5 months. In between that time, and I did go back to him for a second set of injections, but the medications that he was trying me on for fibro weren't working, and he wasn't really resolving my back pain. So I switched to the new pain management doctor that could do everything in his office. And so I started going to him. He has yet to do any occipital injections. So it's been a while, and I'm due, and I can feel that I need to get them. Started a new neurologist in the end of July at the Neurology and Headache Center here in St. Louis, and I had tried for over a year to get in, and they were booked. But I finally got in. Fantastic doctor. She's really working on trying to think outside of the box on treatments. She's the one that agreed to do oral ketamine. She's been researching it. She's had several patients ask about it. She's trying to learn more about it and dosing protocols to see if infusions are going to be a possibility. How can we do it so insurance will pay for it? But my insurance is paying for the oral liquid ketamine that I can do at home, and did a sample trial like last week, and now she's mailed me a paper prescription. I'm hoping it comes today or tomorrow, and I can take it in to my pharmacy, get it filled, and I'm going to be dosing every 8 hours. We're going to do this for 2 weeks and see how I do. So we've kind of got that going, and that should hopefully help my migraine pain, my fibro pain, and possibly some of my, at least the muscle part of my back pain. I don't know that it's going to work on the joints and the osteoarthritis, but it might work on some of the muscle spasms that I get from all of that. We'll see. But I'm just trying to figure out going forward what I'm going to do. Today is a higher pain day. My head is hurting. I'm waiting until I finish this before I take anything. I'm going to take a nap. I'm up in the air about this YouTube channel. I'm older than most of the chronically ill patients that I'm seeing on YouTube. Daily vlogging, I don't think I can do that. My life is certainly not fascinating enough. I don't want to be on here whining all the time about how much I hurt. I want to be supportive, but I also want to give a window into what a middle-aged person looks like with chronic illness, because you're dealing with a certain amount of some age-related things. I mean, not by any stretch am I old. I'm 54, so I'm twice the age of a lot of these people that I'm seeing on YouTube. But it adds a different dynamic to things. So I'm up in the air. I don't know how consistent I can be. I want to be helpful and supportive, but real and honest. And honestly, I'm not really sure how I'm going to proceed. Hit or miss doesn't really help anybody. But the stress of saying, ooh, I have to record this day, that day, whatever, is maybe not realistic for me. So, still undecided on that. I am going to be applying for disability, finally. this year. I closed down my business 2 years ago in December, this last December. End of 2016, ending in mid-January 2017, I tried taking on one client. Couldn't do it. So officially, it's been 1 full year since I've worked. I did apply for and got hired for an online customer service representative position. Again, even the work that I did before, I worked from my home office. I could do from my laptop in bed, but the bottom line is you still have to get the work done. It has to be done on a deadline. You still have to have reasonable cognitive abilities to be able to think and focus and remember. And I don't really have that ability. And with the customer service position, I was way overqualified for, considering my skill set and what I'm able to do. They were thrilled to have me, but I couldn't even do the 2 hour of training videos. I couldn't even get to that point because my pain and ER visits and doctor visits and things like that. And this was going to be a weekend support, phone support, or not phone, but it was like online help desk and live chat. The problem is that I spend quite a few days, most weeks, back and forth to doctor visits for me or my 3 teens or something. Saturdays and Sundays are the only days the doctors aren't open. Those are the days that I can rest without having to go somewhere. And to spend it working, I just realized that I can't do that. I mean, I couldn't even find the time and the mental clarity and focus to do their training. There's no way I would be able to consistently work. So I had to quit before I even started. And that made me realize if I can't do the simplest, most basic jobs that I am way overqualified for and I could do it from home, I can't work. I mean, I can't. So I'm going to start the process of trying to apply. I know it's a long, drawn-out thing, and honestly, the thought of it just stresses me out because you've got to prove how disabled you are, and, that just, I don't even feel like doing that, and but I paid in. The Social Security is there. I paid in for it. I paid it out of the money I earned. It's money that I'm entitled to. And honestly, could really use with me not working. So, anyway, enough of this long, drawn-out, whiny session. So, I'm going to go take a nap. And hopefully I will see you again soon. I will do an update video once I get my ketamine started again. I'll update and let you know how that's working as it builds up in my system and see if it's a real viable option. Hopefully it is. And I will talk to you later.